Y'all ready to start this thing up or what?
Yep.
Honey, where are you going?
Where are you going?
Again? Just where are you going?
Where are you going? You're not going to the bar again, are you?
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your boy Ray from Guys in the Bar Talking Sports. Thank you for joining us for another week looking at sports and all that entail what you love, and that is sports. Because if you're listening to the show, you must be a sports lover. So thank you all for joining us. Thank you for joining our Facebook group as well. A lot of you guys are in that Facebook group, and we appreciate that. If you're not in the Facebook group, hop on in. Hit the subscribe button on this show as well. You can check out our website, guysthebartalkingsports.com. We are also on TikTok and Facebook. So we have a drinking habit, which we like for y'all to support. So you can do that if you want to. You can hop on Venmo and send us some loot. And that will be at Guys the Bar Talking Sports on Venmo. So thank you all again. We have some people here. We got the Rebel himself, man. You might be coaching soccer right now as we speak, but you're not right now. So thank you very much for showing up today, man.
It was cold and rainy, man.
Yeah.
That's not ideal for any sport. So little film study and coming to you guys.
Thank you so much for doing that. And also we got the Choppa over there drinking his Sweetwater 420. So since last week, have you become more of a Chiefs fan, less of a Chiefs fan, more of a fan of those Redskins, or what? What are you thinking, man? You doing all right with those Redskins?
I'm 50-50.
50-50.
That's right.
But you have at least 6 months or so until college football or
but,
NFL
I've got time to figure it out.
You got time to figure it out, yeah.
He's got those Auburn Tigers to worry about right now.
That's all I'm worried about, because obviously, the refs have gone from the Chiefs to colluding against the Auburn Tigers basketball team. Right?
They're certainly doing that with that
They're
terrible.
colluding to try to get they're like, we gotta get number 1 versus number 2 this week.
And they accomplished it.
They accomplished it.
Well, they weren't busy with the Chiefs, so they were in meeting to make that happen.
They were definitely trying to make that happen. Cheeks, how you doing over there?
I'm doing great.
Still enjoying that win from the Eagles 2 weeks ago, huh?
Living the life.
And then we also have the Mountain Man. It's the same people that came last week showed up this week. That's crazy, huh? So thank you for joining us on the show.
Wow.
Mountain Man.
Are we supposed to pretend like it's a new week? I'm kidding.
Totally blew that.
I know. I'm kidding.
Yeah. So, anyway. I'm sure the listeners have figured it out by now that we're just recording again. So I might have to cut this part of the show.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
Nah,
Yeah.
whatever, man. That's part of the comedic genius of our show, right? Is that not only do we fake it that we're doing a show or that we're doing a show next week, but then somebody gives it away.
Look, it's February 18th, and we will not tell you who won the Auburn-Alabama basketball game this weekend. That's already happened. It's coming this weekend.
Yeah.
It's a secret.
I mean, it was definitely, we're not going to let you know. You got to actually go back and watch it
And that
yourself.
Daytona 500. Wow.
Hey. You start donating some money, some drinks, we might get drunk and slip.
Yep.
So what I wanted to try to do is some topics that I've always wanted to get y'all's opinions on things and stuff. And we've never done this because we're always knee-deep in college basketball, knee-deep in college football, mostly football, right? And then sometimes we get knee-deep in the NFL as well. So in hockey. Well, we posted
There's some good games coming.
Yeah. We posted
would
once
have already
about hockey.
happened.
Yep.
Yeah, and it got more
More
action than ever.
Well, there's the Four Nation one starting on Thursday, or last Thursday it happened.
I have no idea
For
what
real
you're
or
talking
pretend?
about.
No, well, it really is happening. Like Finland, Sweden, Canada, and the USA.
Nobody knows what you're talking about, Cheeks.
Oh, them hockey
Anybody
fans
into hockey
do.
do.
Hockey
Them
fans.
hockey fans know a lot.
I
Yeah.
can assure you they're not
I'm a
listening to
hockey
our
fan.
show.
So I'll be up all this week without sleep watching hockey.
All right, so if
2 weeks in a row.
If you're a hockey fan listening to this show, email me. It's ray_ian@hotmail.com and let me know that you are listening to the show because I will.
We'll do a whole hockey show.
I'll do a whole hockey show for
I
you.
like
yeah.
hockey.
Yeah.
I like hockey.
Listen,
I do too.
I will do a hockey show if I get one email from a listener.
I
that
watched
says
the Golden
love
Knights come back and beat Boston
And
on
it can't
Saturday.
be-
It was so good.
It can't be you that emails me or somebody. Okay, it has to be somebody that is like an
Noted
organic
people, he
listener.
pointed at me.
Yeah, it can't be any of you. Any of you. It has to be an organic listener that and I'll do a hockey show. I'll actually become an expert on hockey within like six weeks. I'll figure it out, man. I'm good at studying stuff like that. So,
All right.
anyway, next thing you know, I'll know every what is the championship for hockey?
Stanley
Stanley
Cup.
Cup.
Every Stanley
Good
Cup
Lord.
championship.
You might need more than 6 weeks to get.
You might
That's one of the easy ones.
you may want to pass that leading torch to somebody else for that
Yeah,
conversation.
who's our local hockey team?
Yeah, go ahead and put that on LinkedIn.
Yeah,
We're hiring a host for the
a
hockey
hockey
shows.
expert.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
And we don't mean shit.
and yeah, there's no pay. All right. I will buy you drinks while you're here. All right. So I will provide the drinks. There we go. All right. Listen, the greatest college football team of all time. We're basically
It's easy.
We're mostly a college football show, right? So I'm going to go around the horn really fast and just ask somebody's opinion. What is your number one college football team of all time? I'm looking at you.
The 2001 Miami Hurricanes.
2001 Miami Hurricanes. Why?
43 players were drafted in the NFL. That team was unbeatable. I mean, they should have played the national championship in 2000 and got screwed by the stupid BCS.
What was it, Florida State versus?
They beat Florida State, and then Florida State played Oklahoma. I think we all know Miami would have steamrolled them. And then the next year, they blew through Nebraska. Nebraska was a very, very, very good team that year, and they stomped them easy. And then they would have been a three-peat had it not been a phantom 10-second later pass interference call against Ohio State in the Fiesta Bowl. That team, that 3-year run of that team, I mean, in my opinion, now there's been a lot of great ones, but to me...
No, you can't say 3-run. It's the greatest team. That means a single season.
Those guys were together for 3 years.
That's great.
Okay, fine. The 2000 Miami Hurricanes were the best college that I've ever seen.
I thought it was 2001.
2001.
2001. 2001. They played the national championship and won 2001.
Yeah, it was a 2000 season.
2000 season, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks. Lay off the powder. Good Lord.
You don't think it's the 1995 Nebraska Cornhuskers?
I do not.
All right. Does anyone else have a thought on this whole thing, Cheeks?
100%.
All right.
Because y'all are wrong.
Well, then go for it, man. Tell me.
2019 LSU. It's not even close.
Come on.
Get you out of your damn mind.
I will take that team against the Miami Hurricanes team.
It'd be a hell of a game to watch.
It would be.
And LSU would win the game.
I don't know.
I think that Rebel.
Wasn't that a not so fast?
I think
Not so fast.
I think Rebel has a not so fast on that.
I think he has a man crush on Joe Burrow.
Any team that I've seen dominate
yeah,
the
he does.
entire season, like
here we
all the
come
way
Auburn.
through.
Here we go.
It's the 2004 USC Trojans. Yeah, they dominated everybody.
Except
they beat
for-
everybody.
Oh, you talking about the year they won the
They
national
beat
championship.
everybody.
Yeah.
Reggie
Dominated
Bush was on the
everybody.
team?
Yes.
Yeah.
Reggie
You know
Bush.
what hurts them? You know what hurts them is the next year when they lost to Texas in the national championship.
That's right.
Because you're right, they beat Oklahoma bad.
You're
They
saying
beat
the same
everybody
thing.
bad.
It's a year. It's that in that microcosm of that year. What they did next year don't freaking
I know
matter.
but people forget about that previous year because
Okay,
of,
that's fair.
You know
That's
what I'm
fair.
saying?
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think people forget about it because the big deal was made about Reggie Bush.
That's true
Yeah.
too.
And you know who went undefeated that year, right?
Auburn did.
That's right.
And why did they not?
Second. Didn't even play in the national championship.
Yeah, that's right. They beat Virginia Tech right in the Sugar Bowl.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Was that the year they were on probation?
No.
that was
We were number
93.
three,
Yep,
and
93.
Oklahoma was
that's
number
right.
2.
That's right.
We finished number 2 just because Oklahoma got destroyed. But
That's not the year I had.
Burrow, Jefferson, Chase. Get the hell out of here, man.
And
Clyde Edwards ran for 1,414 yards,
And?
something like that.
Who else?
I mean, you had Jamar Chase, 1,780 yards receiving. You had Burrow, 5,671 yards passing. They went 15-0. I mean, that was a stacked team, dude. And that was actually the year that we started the Guys About Sports. So it's kind of a team that is,
A little near and dear to you.
near and dear to my heart. Because we were sitting there, I remember in November, it was like when we started the show, we're sitting there saying,
No, they'll
is it?
crack.
Who
Who's
is-
this Joe Burrow?
yeah, who's this Joe Burrow guy? You know, I mean, he's looking good, but I mean, they're going to fall apart at the end and all that. And next thing you know,
You guys want to compare rosters? Do you really want to compare rosters?
well, you said 47 people.
Willis
went to the NFL?
McGahee, Najee Davenport, Andre Johnson, Santana Moss, Al Blades, Mike Rump, Ken Dorsey, DJ Williams,
Ken Dorsey's where you're going to lose the game.
Ed Reed. Let's see. There's a lot. Clinton Portis, Philip Buchanan, Jarrett Payton,
LSU was putting up 54 points a game on it.
Dan Morgan. By the way, Dan Morgan's a GM of the Carolina Panthers. You know that?
54
Yeah,
points a
and
game.
That's why they suck.
I don't know.
I hope they never win
Jonathan
another
Vilma.
game.
I mean, I'm skipping names. I'm talking about people that we are, those household names that we would all know. I know most of these names on here. I mean,
Look, I'm
Vince Wilfork. Are you really going to compare the 2019 3-horse, 4-horse team to this team?
No, you know 3, 4, 4. We can go down that same damn list.
Bryant McKinney,
I'm telling you.
now go to the 04 Trojans roster.
Reggie Wayne.
I like the way you
He
say
wasn't worth a shit in college, by the way.
No, he was a better pro. That's for sure. Yeah, no, it's a good debate. I mean, look.
Hey, all I can say is this is one of those you put into college football 2025.
Yes.
And then let it play out because, God, that would be such a great game to watch.
Yeah, that 2004 roster of USC was good. But you know, I know they didn't win the national championship. They weren't that great. But boy, that team they had in '90, they had Palomalu and Carson Palmer. There was a lot of good players on that team too.
Right.
But they weren't. Unfortunately, they were like 9-3 or something.
Yeah.
So this goes back to a lot of the greatest teams of all time. So we're talking about that, USC, I think, would be a good honorable mention, in my opinion. I think that Miami and LSU teams are top 2. You can argue them back and forth. But what comes into this is, I think what would be an equalizer is the shit that Miami did on defense, you can't do in 2019.
That's true.
and that's going to slow them down enough to where LSU can compete. Now, look, you put LSU back playing in 2000, where they would let you go headhunting and try to decapitate people.
Oh, yeah.
That might be an equalizer.
Yeah, Sean Taylor would lay somebody out.
Oh, dude, he laid out a damn punter in the freaking Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
So
it's hard to compare times. You're right.
It is, but I think so. When I looked at this, in my opinion, I went down. I was like, I can't do one, but those two hands down are the top two best college teams of all time, in my opinion.
In our life, I mean, like you start comparing, then you got to go back and say, how good was that? How good was that 87 Miami team? How good was the 88 Notre Dame team? I mean, because at the time, the way they played football back then, they were tough teams. But
how about I'm the oldest one here. So back when I was little, 1894.
The Harvard team of 1894.
The Yale team. Yale team of 1894 went 14-0, and they outscored their opponents.
They didn't throw the ball.
They outscored their opponents.
It was illegal to throw
485 points to 13.
Their average offensive lineman weighed 145 pounds.
I know, it's a totally different game. They also had leather helmets, and they didn't have shoulder pads. And they wrapped their ankles in ace bandages and called it a game.
I think forward passes were illegal back then.
I actually think they were.
They were. It was like 1902 before you could do a
But I just thought it was funny that
numbers
was so
even more,
unbalanced.
those numbers are even more impressive. All rushing. That's that's pretty good.
So you do have. Back then it was. With Yale and Harvard, that was a humongous thing going on back then as well. And they actually made the rules and they set laws based upon those teams playing. So people drop dead during those games like every other week.
Yeah, I mean, if you go back and look at national championships, quote, all back to the beginning of college football, I think Harvard's like 4th or 5th.
It's Yale that's the most.
It's one of those Ivy Leagues.
Yeah, we missed that at the trivia. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
I was like, shit.
I put that on the trivia for guys of the Bardock Sports Trivia Night at MJ's Bar.
That was the only one we missed.
Yep. Okay. Best college football player of all time.
So this one you got to quantify.
How do we figure that out? That's what I was trying to. I was talking to a guy that I work with today, and I'm like, how do I figure it out? Is it the most yards ever?
No.
Like this is a 4-year to 6-year term. Who's the best college football player ever?
So you've got to look at this. So best college football ever for a single season. Or for a career?
For a career. Best college football player.
I based mine on a career.
So career, you got two people, in my opinion. It's a 2-horse race.
Who?
It's Earl Campbell and Timmy T.
Oh, I picked Herschel Walker.
So Tim Tebow. So I had him potentially on my list.
Earl Campbell won 2 freaking Heismans. Not Earl Campbell.
Archie Griffin.
Archie Griffin. Sorry. God.
But Earl Campbell was one. Is on my list.
Archie Griffin was the one I was talking about. So he won 2 Heismans for a career. But if you want to go single season, I mean, Cam Newton's in that conversation. For sure. Joe Burrow's in that conversation.
Barry
Sanders in that conversation.
Andre Ware.
Yeah.
Bo Jackson.
But yeah.
Yeah, that gets.
Bo Jackson's another.
That kind of gets into who's the best Heisman Trophy winner ever.
Yeah.
But
You almost
if you're talking about. I mean, how do you figure this out? Because I was talking to a guy that I work with today, like I said, and I'm looking at the numbers. And Dillon Gabriel right now, he has 19,931 total yards of offense that he's accounted for in 4 years playing football. That's number 2 to a guy that played for Houston. The difference, and that there was only like 5.
Klingler or Ware, one of the two, I'm sure.
Yeah, Andre Ware.
No, it was it's someone that played from 2011 to 2014, I think, or 20
for Houston,
2009 to 2013.
Gunnar Stockton.
No, it wasn't.
I wish I would have wrote.
They
it
had
down
a couple
here.
of runs there of quarterback. Matter of fact, shoot.
Yeah, but that being said, the only reason I put Dillon Gabriel on my list for that and topped him above the guy that has the most yards is because Dillon Gabriel has played for Oklahoma and he played for Oregon, which are both teams that are in a Power 4/Power 5 conference, right? So you have to look at him and you're saying, holy crap, that guy accounted for that many yards. Does that make him the best player of all time? No. That he's number 2 for most yards. I mean, the guy also is the most points total of any person, accountable for the most points.
Look, so
Dillon Gabriel, that's crazy.
So again, if you're going to take it down that rabbit hole, then you got to start quantifying other things. Are you talking about Power 4? Are you talking about 1AA? Because if you want to go like best statistically, Steve McNair comes into this conversation because that dude tore up 1AA at Alcorn. I mean, it got stupid.
No, but I would say you have to be in NC or in Division I. So
was Case Keenum? Was that the one at Houston?
Yes, Case Keenum.
And I would say you have to be in a Power 4/Power 5 conference or the equivalent of what that was in the 70s and 80s.
To me, it's got to be the best of 2000s, the best of the 90s, the best of the 80s. It's just such a different game.
It's a different game, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
True.
And Dillon Gabriel, no disrespect, but take Dillon Gabriel and put him in 1994. Is he going to be that guy?
No, it's a different game, and he has the ability to do a little bit of running.
Imagine
scatting around. He's 6 foot tall.
Saying that, imagine putting Tommie Frazier in today's game. Ooh. Holy cow! You know what I mean?
He would be a beast, don't you think?
Yes,
minus the
absolutely.
Minus the blood clots, yeah, because he was a beast back then.
Yeah.
And now they can't touch him.
Ty Detmer. Imagine putting those guys like Ty Detmer and. Oh my gosh! I mean, and Tim Brown. I mean, Tim Brown won the Heisman as a wide receiver in the '80s. Put him now. Holy cow! He's Jordan Jefferson.
Yeah, where you don't have to worry about safety coming in.
No,
trying to
Well, what
cave
about
in.
Jim Brown? He excelled in every single sport. He
had-
went to Syracuse for lacrosse.
But I'm going to use him here in a little bit. I got a thing for Jim Brown.
Yeah, he was on a like I was looking at different lists as well, and he showed up a lot as
Yeah.
the best player of all time as well.
Yeah.
Bo Jackson showed up quite a bit as well. I mean, Bo Jackson, you could say, is the best athlete of all times. I mean, look at
Yes.
this.
It's either him or
Hard to
Jim.
argue.
It's either him or Jim.
Yeah,
It's either him or
either
Jim
Jim
Ford.
or-
It's either him or Jim Ford,
Jim-
and I give it to Jabot all day long.
Maybe even Dion though. I mean, the guy played.
No,
You don't think so?
No,
No,
I mean, I think Bo Jackson outdoes Dion any day. But I mean,
you could have given Bo Jackson a tennis racket, and he'd have been great.
that commercial
Yeah.
that they used to have was legit.
Bo knows.
Bo
Yeah.
knows.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah.
I have the Bo Breaker baseball card somewhere. So hey,
Is that the
I
one
do
where he's
too.
got the shoulder pads in the back?
1990 upper deck.
Oh yeah, yeah.
upper deck or something. Yeah,
1990 upper deck.
it's
Bo's
somewhere in my
dominating
attic.
some pickleball now.
It might be worth money. Who
And
knows?
shooting deer with a bow.
I know.
We got robbed. Imagine we got robbed of
of greatness.
greatness. What happened
Absolutely.
to him? And the fact that he came back and played baseball as well as he did.
Yeah.
With that injury, I mean,
Look, he legitimately could have been a Hall of Famer in two sports, and we've never seen that.
in my book,
Yeah.
You're right.
the way the NFL Hall of Fame works right now, he should be in there.
Oh,
For sure.
I mean, because if you're going to put guys like Joe Namath in who don't have the stats, but he changed the game.
yeah.
Bo Jackson changed a lot. He
Absolutely.
should be in there. I mean,
But then again, you look at the crap they've done this year. Like there were some really good players that did not get in first ballot.
Oh, I
Eric
know.
Allen finally got in.
I mean, Luke Kuechly did not get in first ballot, and he's one of the greatest.
Eli-
linebackers of
Eli
all time.
didn't get in
Eli didn't
first.
get in with what, 2 Super Bowls?
Hines Ward's yet to make it past the. I mean, there's a lot of surprises there.
Deion Sanders had a hissy fit that he didn't get in.
Well, he's going to hissy fit everything.
Who didn't get in?
Deion.
Deion's in.
Yeah, he's been in.
What did he have a hissy fit about?
That Kuechly didn't get in because he said he was a dog.
Oh, I didn't read the article because I don't like Deion.
Yeah. I mean, look, and again,
You're
real
like
quick,
a lot of people, Beth.
another really good college player in his day was Sterling Sharp, but he should not be in the NFL Hall of Fame. Sorry, I'll just leave it at that. But
Yeah.
Oh, he and his bro.
He's an ass, by the way, if you've never met him.
I know.
He's an ass.
Top Heisman snub of all time.
Jim Brown,
Jim Brown. Tell me more.
how could you not? How did he lose?
Peyton Manning.
Who won over him?
No, Peyton Manning underachieved based off what they thought he was going to do, and Rod Woodson played two. Look, they've already proven if you can play both sides of the ball, you're going to win the Heisman. They proved that. I was going to say Genty. Genty has got to be in the top 2 or 3
He could be absolutely.
to get screwed out of the Heisman this year based off his statistics. His statistics as a running back, every other running back that had those kind of stats won the Heisman.
Larry Fitzgerald, Christian McCaffrey.
Christian McCaffrey's on that list as well. Peyton Manning had 3,800 yards that season that he lost, as well as 36 touchdowns, 62.6% completion rate. Underperformed. He had 11 interceptions. Underperformed. He would not get a Heisman now. He would not get a Heisman in almost any era,
Right.
except for maybe the 70s.
It's
or
not a
60s
lifetime
or something.
achievement award.
It's not a lifetime achievement award, exactly.
But what I'm saying is they basically had all but anointed him national champion, Heisman Trophy, going into that senior year.
It was disappointing.
And they didn't do shit.
They were
I mean,
11-2. Yeah.
I mean, they lost, and I think they lost to Florida that
Florida
year.
beat them like a drum.
Like a drum.
Like
and
a
then
drum.
I forget the other team that beat them that year, but
Didn't he lose to Kentucky? Was it Kentucky? He lost to a bad team that year.
well,
I think it was Kentucky.
I mean,
Might have been. They won the national championship the next year with Team
All right, which look, yeah.
my man over here can appreciate that because that was not Rod. It was Rod Woodson that won it that year. The year Peyton lost, he lost to Rod Woodson, right?
It was Charles Woodson.
Charles Woodson. Sorry, Charles Woodson.
Yep.
You want to tell you who was the most formidable person in that class, but because of who he played for, he didn't get more credit? Randy Moss is in that class.
Yeah, that's right. He finished third.
Randy Moss, if he was playing for somebody other than Marshall,
Yep.
based off if he had the same stats playing somewhere else, he probably might win the thing.
Yeah, had he played for Florida State or Notre Dame, which is the two places he was at before, he would have probably won it.
He'd have given it a run.
Yeah. Now, to say that, Peyton Manning probably should have won the previous year.
Yes, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair. I think, is that Crouch?
No. Crouch. Crouch
It was one of
won
those. I feel like it was one of those Nebraska quarterbacks beat him out the year
It was
before.
Tebow, wasn't it?
No,
not
no.
Peyton
it's-
Manning.
No, Danny Werfel, 96.
It was Danny Werfel.
Danny
Werfel.
Werfel won the
Danny
national
Werfel.
championship, or won the national
Werfel.
championship.
I meant
and-
Werfel.
Yeah.
Not Tebow.
Yeah, Werfel. That's right. Werfel beat him
Werfel
out.
was 96, yeah.
And Werfel had a good year too. You know.
You want to tell you what's great about that year or the year before? And did Werfel take over the year that he won the Heisman? Was it his first year?
Yeah, he won the
You want to tell you
Heisman
what's
that
great
year,
about
yeah.
that year? Danny Werfel was not the starter that
Terry
year.
Dean was the
Terry
starter.
Dean was. And 3 games in, you've never heard of Terry Dean again.
Yeah, I know.
That was the year that I started watching football. That's the year that I started watching college football. That's the year I became a Gators fan.
Let me tell you
It was
what.
such a fun-
I hate Terry Dean because Terry Dean beat us in the Sugar Bowl bad. We lost the Sugar Bowl.
What year was that? And does he have money? And
90
is he single?
97, 98.
We lost the Sugar Bowl in 94 to. We were undefeated and lost.
We is who? Our listeners don't know who we is on your side.
West Virginia.
All right.
The second class Mountaineers at this table.
Heisman. So
I mean, lately. Very much true.
So Eddie George won the Heisman in 1995. He was playing for Ohio State. Had a decent season, not like a standout season, right? And you had Tommie Frazier, who went 12-0. They won a national championship that year.
Wow.
Had 1,700 yards passing, 700 yards on the ground.
But
not that exciting of a quarterback in that sense. But he was an exciting quarterback.
But
like he's one of the best quarterbacks.
He dominated.
Yeah, he dominated.
But correct me, because I know you're a Cornhusker guy. Did he not miss a few games that year?
He did.
I think he missed.
No, the year before he did.
The year before,
the
94.
kid that died in the plane crash. I can't think of his name, but he missed half that season and came back for the national championship.
All I know is sitting in Tulsa, Oklahoma at that time, watching them just destroy Florida in the national championship.
Man.
Was it Frazier? Tommie Frazier? Is that right? Just went stupid and then went to jail for the rest.
Lawrence Phillips.
Lawrence Phillips.
Yeah, Lawrence Phillips. He ran all over
I said
Florida.
Tommie Frazier. Who the hell's Tommie Frazier?
He was
That's
the
the
quarterback.
Okay, yeah. So Lawrence. God, I've had a few bourbons. Lawrence Phillips went just nutso.
He was a beast.
in that bowl game.
Yeah.
Best Heisman season of all time.
Well, I thought that's what we just did.
No, we had the best Heisman player of all time. What's the best Heisman season of all time?
I just keep coming back to Barry
Or
Sanders.
that we had the best.
Yeah, Barry Sanders is my pick too. 1980.
Yeah, we had the best Heisman snub of all time. Now it's
Yeah.
the best Heisman season of all time. Barry Sanders, 26.
Definitely
100
good
yards
Barry
rushing.
Sanders.
It's that or
Yeah,
BDJ.
26-28.
It's Sanders or BDJ.
Tebow, man, also
BDJ.
like
Big Dick Joe.
Oh, Joe Burrow. Yeah, I mean,
5,600 yards. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was insane.
Yeah.
Or Tebow's a good one.
Tebow,
Preseason.
yeah.
just
09.
I mean,
But to be fair, Cam was the first 30-30 guy, right? Or was it 20-20 guy? I mean, that was a sixth season.
Cammy
Yeah.
Cam.
2010, the next year.
I mean, to me, the Heisman winner is like a no-brainer, and he was a no-brainer that year.
Yeah.
he was a no-brainer.
I mean, it was like no way he's not.
But what made him that great, even though he's such a douche novel, is the
Yeah, it's
fact
gotten worse.
that Alabama was crushing him that
Hey,
year. And they came back-
wait, stop. That's coming up later.
And he came back and rolled them. I mean,
Stop stealing my thunder.
and in Tuscaloosa, by the way.
yeah, by the way, yes.
It's called the cam back.
The comeback.
God.
You could make a case for
Coming
Tebow
up later in the show.
2007 when
Just stay
Tebow
tuned.
in 2007 when Tebow won the Heisman but didn't win the national championship. You can make a case if he would have won the national championship that year. You can make a case that would have been one of the best seasons.
I mean, Tebow's one of the greats. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't, it's just,
2 national championships, Heisman.
well, one was legitimately his. The other one, he just came in through a jump pass.
Yeah.
Chris Leak's the one.
Yeah, Chris Leak won that national championship, and he gets no credit for that for sure.
No, he doesn't.
It's so sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean,
Wasn't Chris Lee the one that transferred in from Wake Forest?
yeah,
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
yeah. He played in Charlotte as well at
No, he played at West Charlotte.
West Charlotte. Yep.
Just did stupid shit at West Charlotte. Went to Wake Forest for some freaking reason. There was no bag man there, I'm sure, back in the day when you couldn't do that. And then he ended up down in
He
Florida.
transferred down to Urban Meyer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a guy that that is a client of mine for work, and he played against Chris Leak back in the day, and he said that dude is just freaking insane.
Well, his
in
little
high
brother
school.
wasn't bad either.
Yeah. All right. So we did the top Heisman Snubs, best Heisman season of all time. What's the most iconic rivalry in college football? Everyone says it's the game, Ohio State versus
Nope.
Michigan,
Yeah.
typically. So
Everybody?
Nope.
Who's everybody?
Me.
Nope.
Oh, that,
Nope.
I say
That
that's
to me, this
wrong.
is another one that goes. It ebbs and flows with time.
No.
okay, tell me
To me,
more.
it's a slam
That's
dunk.
true.
What was your slam dunk?
What's the only rivalry game that gets their own damn weekend?
Army Navy.
Army effing Navy.
Yeah,
That's definitely the oldest rivalry.
I didn't say the
It's
oldest
not the
rivalry.
oldest.
It's not the
rivalry.
oldest actually. Harvard
Oh.
Yale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Army
Harvard
Navy gets their own damn weekend.
I mean, to me, that's your gold standard. Then everyone else.
That's underneath it.
Yeah, but that's because outside of Army Navy, which I agree.
Outside Army Navy, it's Auburn, Alabama.
Yeah, it ebbs and flows.
Really, over the
I don't agree.
Michigan Ohio State game?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, I mean,
Absolutely.
No.
well, right now, it's Michigan Ohio State. 5 years ago, it was Auburn Alabama. It ebbs and
No,
flows. It
look-
ebbs and flows.
No, but look over time. You look at the actual
it's Auburn,
game.
Alabama.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's not. What I'm saying is there's been times where Auburn Alabama was not. There was a couple times there
For
in the next
you.
day. No, for me,
But that's for you, not
I know, but
for
now,
everybody.
Okay, but that's what makes a rivalry for the guy who's not involved in the rivalry.
Yeah, that's fair. But I can tell you, look, y'all gonna laugh at this. I grew up in North Carolina. North Carolina is a basketball state.
Yeah.
It's a basketball state. I played college football. I didn't give a shit about college football until I got to high school. But you know what game I watched every year? Auburn, Alabama.
You did.
Because you never knew the shit that was going to go on in that crazy ass game. I didn't give a damn. Look, the problem is when you get up, you ask, go up north and ask this shit. There's so many pro sports up there. That kind of filtrates into what dominates their psyche. You come down south, you ask somebody, I'm going to go to a pro game or I'm going to go to a college game. They're going to go to. They're going to go to. Well, it's because you're from California.
I'm a Yankee.
But so, I'm just telling you, as I'm speaking personally, I didn't give a rat's ass about college football, and there was 2 games I watched every year. I watched Auburn, Alabama, and I watched Tennessee, Florida. Those 2 games I watched every year.
Tennessee, Florida.
I didn't. I watched Michigan and Ohio State.
But see, remember. Let's go back. Let's go back for about 15 years. Florida State, Miami was the game. Florida State, Miami decided a lot. Miami, Notre Dame in the 80s decided a lot.
And that's
Oklahoma, Nebraska was one of the biggest rivalries going until they broke that conference stuff up.
Yeah. Those are big games, but those aren't big rivalries.
I would argue Texas, Oklahoma is bigger than Ohio State, Michigan.
Texas, Oklahoma? Yes. Are you kidding me? No. And so if you look just the viewership on these games, it's going to be Alabama, Auburn, obviously, and then you also have the Michigan Ohio State game.
Again, I'll stop saying it, but this to me, it just boils down to the time. The last 4 or 5 years, Ohio State, Michigan has been big because it's decided who's. I mean, they've played in the last couple national championship games. I know. Auburn, Alabama.
That's happened multiple times. Auburn, Alabama games.
But look what happened with the flag.
Multiple times.
Absolutely.
Auburn's played in 2 national championships in the last 20 years. Alabama's played in 10. Yeah. I mean, what I'm saying is Auburn, Alabama has stood the test of time. But there is some times you go back to them games were 45-3, 45-10. Nick Saban's blowing them out. That's not a. It's hard. I mean, I'm not saying it's not the best. It's definitely up there. It's Army, Navy, and then you got the 2B and 2A is Ohio State, Michigan, Auburn, Alabama. And then you've got your Texas, Oklahomas, and then you got your stuff like App State and Georgia Southern, West Virginia, Pitt.
No, I love them, but they ain't in this damn conversation.
What's wrong?
No, but rivalries start becoming important to people in their
regionally. They become very regional.
Like UCLA, USC, for example, or
correct.
Penn State, Pitt.
All right. Ohio State, Michigan, they've been playing since 1897. That's 62-56 with 6 ties. Michigan leads that. They've won to 62. Auburn and Alabama, so that's over 100. What is it? I don't know. Some Florida math will do about 120 games, right? And then we got the Alabama and Auburn game, 51 games. Alabama's won 37. Auburn wins. So if you go for longevity, Michigan versus Alabama wins on that, right?
Michigan versus Ohio State.
Michigan versus Ohio State. Sorry, and then you got Florida versus Georgia. They've been playing in Jacksonville since 1915.
That's another big one.
Yeah, and that's 57-44. Georgia leads that. Army, Navy, they're 63-55. So that's pretty close to what or that's a little bit more than what the Michigan and Ohio State game is. But then you have Harvard and Yale.
That's a big one too.
61,
I want to go to one of those.
61 wins for Yale, 71 wins for Yale, and 61 for Harvard, and 8 ties. So that one for the longest rivalry. And it's insane. Those guys, I mean, I've heard that the students will sit there and go like paint the town of the team, the rival team of his home game.
Well, here's what I come back to that probably you can't say this doesn't factor into this. What time does Ohio State and Michigan play every year?
Noon.
What time does Auburn, Alabama play every year?
It's usually 3:30, right?
3:30, 8 o'clock, something like that.
Yeah.
You know why? Because that's who the hell's watching. I'm just telling you.
Yeah, what's the first choice of games? Tell me, who gets the first choice?
This is not.
What time slot gets the first choice?
Well, it depends on the network.
What time slot?
It depends on the network.
Next week, I'm coming back with the
not
viewership.
Now, last year, but it's historically been CBS 3:30.
Yeah, but ABC. I mean, it depends on the network. It ain't like. those two conferences are in the same network.
Why wouldn't they ever pick the other game at 3:30?
He's like, we got to go with this. Move on.
This is not about which.
That's a great point.
This is not about which network is going to host which game when.
No, because they get the first pick.
Do we care about the networks? No.
Moving on.
Yeah.
No,
Not unless they're supporting us.
So get the back half. Make it back half of that question. I think we'll all
Only
agree.
Tubi. That's the only network.
Go to the back half of that question. I think this will be a quick conversation.
As soon as we get sponsored by ABC, then we'll be okay with the networks. Yeah, exactly.
So what's the back half of that question? Because I think that'll be a quick one.
What do you?
The best college basketball rivalry.
Oh, I was going to get to that.
Yeah, that's
all right. Then let's do it. Best college basketball rivalry.
Duke, North Carolina, they ain't even close.
Yep, that's my number one.
It ain't even close.
They faced off 258 times. North Carolina leads 142-115. North Carolina has 6 national championships, and Duke has 5.
There are others that are fun, but that is the best.
It ain't even close.
Louisville, Kentucky.
Louisville, Kentucky, Indiana, Kentucky. There's some, but again,
Michigan State's not bad.
Yeah.
But
St. John, Syracuse.
Purdue, Indiana.
Yeah.
That's a big one. But North Carolina, that is the game.
To use your point from earlier, the casual viewer, which game are they going to stop?
UNC.
I'm watching Duke.
As bad as it is right now, it was still the prime time. I mean,
But to your point with this is, and I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole here because we've got a lot to cover here, this is where NIL's really jacking up basketball too. I mean, you've got 4 out of your top 6 are SEC.
I know.
SEC was,
we talked about that a couple weeks ago, yeah.
Speaking of the SEC, the first time ever, number 1 is going to meet number 2, right?
No.
It's already happened.
In the other Iron Bowl.
Hold on, it's
that
already
happened last weekend.
But here's the thing, though.
It's already happened,
That's
buddy.
right.
And Alabama won.
But
wait, we weren't supposed to give that away.
think so.
Were we?
Oh, that's right, yeah.
But here's the
High
thing, though.
tide, high tide.
But North Carolina's already trying to adjust. I mean, I think maybe it's because Hubert Davis trying to save his ass.
Yeah.
But they've already announced they're hiring a GM. North Carolina basketball has just said they're going to start running it like a pro team. They're hiring a GM.
Did they lose to Clemson?
They got crushed
yeah.
by 20. Yeah, it's ugly right now in the thrill.
Wow.
Does a player's recruiting rankings in high school determine outcomes in college and beyond?
Nope.
Not even close. And I can give you a great. You wanted an example,
Well,
right?
hold on.
It does not, but it can.
Let me get my thought out there. So a 5-star means that you are expected to go in the first round in the NFL draft. So there's 34, 35 of them usually. And then after that, a 4-star is expected to actually go to the NFL. And this is the stats. Ready? 58% of 5-star recruits make it to the NFL. 29% of them go in the first round, where if they're 5-star to high school. 23% of 4-star recruits make it to the NFL. 66% of the first-round recruits are 4-star. So if you're in the first round, 66% of them will be in the 4 stars. For 3-star players, it goes down significantly. 0.4% go in the first round. 6% go to the NFL if you're a 3-star. So it does make some matter, but then again, you have not peaked in high school.
No, and I mean, you've got – the thing is this, and what makes it worse is I think the star rating 20, 25 years ago, 15 years ago mattered more because it was objective measures. You've got people now
Watered down now.
when they're buying rankings. Like
Are they really?
You've got examples of where come to this and we'll get you in front of these people. And if you just show up of all these different places, all of a sudden your star ranking goes up because you're in front of the right people because they know it influences. Look, I'm in a soccer world, and I can tell you right now, from a high school perspective, if you play for an ECNL national team or an ECNL regional team, let me tell you, there's a shit ton of really good talent on regional teams. Go down to Texas, where it's just soccer in Texas is stupid, by the way. If you play regional, and that title of regional, Alabama's not coming calling for you. Even though you might come to South Carolina and play on a national team, be the best player there is, they don't come calling because you're a regional player.
So you think it's similar in football as well?
No, I'm saying that's what football used to be.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is now it's bought, it's done, it's all this other kind of stuff to where I think it holds less water than it used to. I think now it's all about publicity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. And real quick, so my son played golf in high school, and he was the best player on the team and pretty good in the district. But he had a middleman recruiter kind of guy call us and say, hey, we can get him into this system, and the more you pay, the more we can expose him, and that raises his star ratings and stuff like that.
Okay.
No, so and of course we didn't do it. He's like, Dad, I want to have fun. I don't want to get. I was like, fine. But and some of these guys who come out of these Catholic schools and private schools, they'll pay to boost that because that's big business for them, right? So I don't think the stars mean anything.
And I think the portal is going to dilute it even further.
Yep.
Because you can have a kid who plays in a not really good area who fits the prototypical size, and he's going to be a bigger star, get to college where everybody's that big and everybody's that fast and strong, and they flounder, and you're going to have these other kids who were a 3-star because they were a pretty good player, but little fish in a big pond that now go to, say, a group of 5 school and then overperforms, and they start transferring through, and the next thing you know, they're a first-round draft pick.
So do you think when Georgia has 6 5-stars being recruited on their team, and this team has 4 and so forth, do you think that really matters that much then, or no?
I think as many, and when you can pile up a bunch of good players, it matters.
Yeah,
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's called depth.
Yeah.
It's called depth, but to single it out to one individual player that is a 5-star recruit, does that actually 100%, 90%, hell, 70%, 50% translate to that they're going to be a great NFL player?
But it does not. However, they have a higher probability than other players who are not.
They're giving more opportunities to
right.
showcase themselves.
Correct.
Absolutely, it's on them at that. It's on them at that point. If you're a 5-star, you're going to be put out there. Now it's on you to finish the deal or not.
Yep.
Well, what about people like Tom Brady? I realize the stars didn't start till after Tom Brady.
No, he was like a 2-star, wasn't he? He wasn't even.
Yeah, they said in the equivalent is a 2-star.
Aaron Rodgers was another one.
Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Guys, I always come back around. Tom Brady got benched his senior year in lieu of Drew.
Yeah.
A baseball player.
A baseball that ended up not doing worth a shit in either one.
No.
Yeah.
It's a miracle that he got to do what he got to do.
No, he's the outlier beyond outliers.
Yeah.
Dak Prescott was a 3-star. Travis Kelce was a 3-star. Patrick Mahomes or a 3-star. Josh Allen, like you said, is a 3-star. And Deebo Samuel was a 3-star. And those are all people that, if you say their names, everybody knows who they are.
Right.
Doesn't say that you can't make it in the NFL, but you're less likely to because you're a 3-star.
You just don't have the advantages.
Josh Allen, when he came out of high school, was a 0-star. He did not have any stars, and they retrofitted that because that's why he ended up at Wyoming. He sent emails to say, hey, recruit me. He basically did what women's sports have to do all the time, and Wyoming said, well, we'll take a chance on you. In today's world, he would have started at Wyoming. He wouldn't have finished there.
Yeah, I want to say Aaron Rodgers was similar because he went to that JUCO or whatever it was before he was able to get boosted a little bit for Cal. Yeah, I mean, I was reading I couldn't pull it up, but in Randy Moss's class, the top 10 high school players at the time, I don't remember if they had stars, they had ratings or whatever. Only 3 of them made it to anything, and only 2 of them played pro. The top 3 were Dan Kendra, Kevin Falk, and Randy Moss. Kendra never got drafted, and Kevin Falk had a pretty good career, and Randy Moss had a Hall of Fame career.
Yeah.
The other 7 don't know what happened to them.
Correct.
So,
Correct. Basketball's even worse.
Yeah.
We're talking football right now. We say the star rating, it goes to basketball too. Basketball's even worse. It's even a worse percentage
What do you
of basketball. To be a 5-star out of high school, you go to college and never pan out. I mean, it's the percentage that you gave earlier. You gave football percentages.
Yep.
Go to basketball; those percentages are even worse.
And then some of these players in college basketball, like some of these Gonzaga players have been so great, they get buried in the NBA. You don't know where they're at.
Correct.
I mean, it's
100% because the games are so different.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. That's the thing you can't lose track of. Whatever sport is, there's no sport that when you translate from college to the pros, it's the exact same sport.
Well, and a lot in the NBA, they go straight from high school to the NBA. You've got Allen Iverson.
Yeah, but they're not allowed to do that anymore. They will be allowed at the next collective bargaining, but
which
they're
they
not
should
right
be.
now. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. I mean, it's a waste of time for them going to college for one.
It's not. Yeah, it's a joke.
Yeah, I mean, the days of people just going to college for 1 year and then going.
Calipari made a living off doing it.
And I think that's why you're seeing him struggle now because the game is changing.
Yep.
Well, they want older. I mean, I've been hearing older, bigger players now, or something like that.
Well, because at the end of the Final Four, the team that was holding the banner was a team that had been around for 2 or 3 years together. I mean, all those great one and done teams that Calipari had, he only won one.
Yep.
Just one. So
there's a lot of people that say he way underperformed.
Oh, yeah,
and you couldn't argue that.
But you know what? And again, here I am wedging my team in there. When West Virginia beat them in the Elite Eight, that team that had all those studs on it, Cousins and Wall and all those guys. Yeah. West Virginia had that whole team had been together for 4 to 5 years, and they played a bunch of freshmen, and that was the difference. They had cohesion. They were a team, and when it came down to it, Kentucky wasn't ready, and they got beat. I mean, and Duke won the national championship that year again. Another team that was
I'm throwing up in my mouth a little bit.
Why?
You just said Duke won a national championship.
Well, I know they beat us in the Final Four. It makes me
I
sick
love
too.
Duke.
Fuck Duke.
So
Christian Leitner.
every time one of y'all bring up your team, we should have to do a shot of Fireball.
Yeah.
That should.
I am always going to wedge West Virginia in this thing.
There
You
goes
just
a
might as well
shot.
deal with it.
Shot.
I would be passed out as much as we talked about Philadelphia.
Until Rich Rod brings us back to the promised land, I am going to be.
It's pretty apropos that the California
We're
girl
done
likes
talking
Duke.
about Philadelphia.
Yeah.
I like Pretty Boys, and I liked Christian Leitner.
The University of New Jersey at Durham. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I like Christian Leitner now.
Eagles fly.
There you go. That's
After
the last time we used that.
After the I Hate Christian Leitner documentary, I liked him a lot
I'm
more now.
retired that.
Fuck him.
All
What he
right.
said.
Greatest comeback in NFL history for the Super Bowl.
For the Super Bowl.
Well, I mean, there ain't too many of those.
Okay,
okay, you
I
said
pulled,
Super Bowl.
I pulled an NFL game and a Super Bowl game.
Well, I pulled a playoff game in a Super Bowl.
But
game.
the NFL, I mean, the Super Bowl is going to only be the
Falcons
one.
and Patriots. That's
Right.
a slam
There's
dunk.
nothing else to fight that with.
I was just inserting the Patriots into this conversation.
Well,
so.
actually, I think the greatest Super Bowl comeback was Doug Williams and the Washington Redskins. They went down 10-0. All was lost, and they scored 35 points in the second quarter and blew them out. That was the greatest. At that time, that was the biggest comeback in Super Bowl history.
Yeah, there's only
Go
been
Commanders.
so
Wasn't it the 80s?
88,
They won 45-10.
42-10. Who's counting?
Timmy Smith never to be heard from again.
Still-
No, that was ripping. That was ripping. That was not Doug Williams.
No, it was Doug Williams and Timmy Smith. And Timmy Smith still has the rushing record, by the way, 204 yards Super Bowl.
this guy is dying to become a Redskins fan again.
And he is. I'm bringing it out of him.
No. I am a huge Redskins fan. Fuck the Commanders.
Just not the Commanders, yeah.
You're dying to become a Commanders fan. You just want to.
I'm getting it out of him.
You want to wear that W.
And what's crazy is Art Monk didn't catch a touchdown in that, and Sanders caught what, 2?
Yeah.
That's almost like Walter
Art
Payton.
Monk
That's like Walter Payton not getting his touchdown in '85.
Art Monk caught one
that's
pass in that game.
Yeah. Sanders went stupid in that game.
Matter of fact, Art Monk played in 3 Super Bowls, never scored a touchdown in any of them.
Damn.
Yeah, the Raiders beat the piss piss out.
Well, even against the Bills, he caught one touchdown that was called back. It was instant replay overturned. Anyway, enough about the Washington Redskins. How great they are.
That is at least 17 shots right there.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. Greatest comeback in NFL history overall. Then let's go with
Bills
it.
and Oilers.
Bills and Oilers.
Yeah, was
Tell
that
me more.
93?
The what they call it?
35-point
The miracle.
deficit.
What they call it? What was the name they called it?
The choke.
No.
Yeah, it was the comeback or the choke.
No,
The
They had
choke.
two names.
no, there was another name.
I just know Frank Wright. Frank Wright has two of the greatest comebacks in football history. He was down when he played for Maryland in 1984. He was losing the Miami Hurricanes 35-3. Came back and won. 10 years, almost 10 years later, losing to the Houston Oilers 35-3, comes back and wins. Pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. You got to dig deep for that one for sure.
No, right went stupid. That's the greatest game of his life.
He had a better game than most career quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Minus the first
Wait,
half.
back up. He had the best half in professional quarterback
His
history.
first half wasn't so good. He threw a pick six to start the third quarter.
All right. Greatest comeback in college football history. Is that going to be it then or no?
Maryland Notre Dame. Maryland Miami one is a big one. I knew that because I'm freaking Rain Man football. But
No, the one that always stands out to me, and I don't know why. I think it was one of those days I was sitting there, had nothing to do, just out of college. My wife's doing God knows what. Michigan State came back from 35 down against
Northwestern. Yep. That was my
wow.
pick, too.
in 2006.
I'll tell you, and there's another one. Your boys, the choke at Doak. The choke at Doak. Didn't they blow a 35-3 lead or something like that to Florida State? And it was a tie. Was it ended in a tie? I think
Ended
back
in a
then?
tie. Yeah. 30-30 or 31-31.
Danny Cannell.
Yeah.
Danny Cannell. Yep.
The choke at
The
Doak.
choke at Doak.
How about 2010 when Alabama was up 24 on Auburn
That's a good one.
at halftime
It's hard to come back at
and
Tuscaloosa.
lost the game?
Yeah, that's probably the hardest.
Yeah.
The hardest one to come back from for sure.
That's fair. That's fair.
All right. So I promised Cheeks that we would do a What the Fuh, and we did not do it last week when we were recording the show. So what the fuh, Cheeks? What the fuh?
Our boy Trey Howard, who covered his sister with his body after the medical plane crash a few weeks ago. He is recovering, doing well. And he did get to watch the Super Bowl from his hospital bed, and the cheerleaders came to cheer him up.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, so before they flew down 2 weeks ago to the Super Bowl, they went and saw him in the hospital, and he probably doesn't have much longer in the hospital, so he gets to hang out with the Philadelphia Eagles very soon.
That is freaking awesome. Okay, that's a good story, and I like that. Last thing on our list. Ready? We're going to all say at one time who won against Alabama versus Auburn to let our listeners know who won that game. Ready? Who won, Auburn or Alabama? Last weekend when we
Basketball.
in the basketball game. Come on in.
You know
We're
the
gonna do
game
it.
you
We're-
watched Saturday?
We're going to let our listeners know who won that game. All right. 1, 2, 3. Alabama.
Or damn Eagle.
It was definitely Alabama that won.
I thought it was Auburn.
It was like 79-75, something like that. So that's
Hey.
what we're going to assume. So,
We're still number
and then
one.
Florida comes back and beats Alabama.
By the way,
It's at Alabama.
what team is better than Auburn in basketball right now?
Florida.
Are they?
Yeah, they beat them
mean,
like
they
3
did
weeks.
beat
Like
them.
what is it? 2 weeks ago.
I
yeah.
said what
Duke.
team is better?
Yeah.
Duke.
Duke's not better. Duke's not
The only
better.
reason why Auburn's still number one was
What
Duke
team
lost.
is better? Look at the entire body of work.
Well, they are.
What
They,
team's better?
I mean,
What
what
team's
happened
better?
when you guys played Duke?
the thing is, they're not ranked.
What happened when you all played Duke?
And they're not ranked number 1 anymore because Alabama beat them on Saturday. Remember? So
We have only lost 2 games. No other team has lost.
they
just
lost
2 games.
3. They lost to
You've
Alabama
lost
now.
3. Florida's lost 3.
I know. So
Florida's
now,
lost 4,
But Florida's
No,
better.
Florida has
Florida's
not lost
better than
4
Auburn
yet.
with 3 losses. I don't think so.
Hey, look, I'm with your boys, Auburn. I'm pulling for them. I do not want Duke.
What makes me want to throw up is all this SEC basketball talk, and at the end of the day, them loving
Duke's gonna-
whores
yeah,
down
Duke's-
in
Duke's
Durham's going to win the son of a bitch this year, and it makes my ass hurt to say that.
I mean, Cooper Flagg is the best player in the country.
It ain't even close.
He's really good. All right. So, hey, thanks everybody for coming tonight and doing the show with me. And also thank you listeners for listening to Guys at the Bar Talking.
Sports.
See ya, War Eagle.